Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon E3 Special Day 4, our final day of coverage for June 12th, 2014, with your hosts, Peacemaker2448 and Rampant Epsilon.
Lock.
Yeah, he's probably still at work. Or at least that would be my guess.
That would kind of be mine too.
Well, we've got not that much to talk about, but hopefully Glock will be able to hop in closer towards the end of the show because we got kind of our final thoughts on the show overall. In a assortment of ways, we're going to be saying that. But first up, we've got a little bit more stuff to look at. Just wrapping up on a couple more noteworthy things, some random things, some things that I would kind of want to look at. Just putting it out there, a little bit biased on one of these. Just a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of saw which one.
Mm.
And I swear, IGN loves Hardline.
Oh, I got a OneDrive commercial.
Well, I'm not just meaning that. Literally, look on the stream, and you will see that IGN has decided to make the complete background for this, the little ad, and the advertisement video that I'd gotten on this,
Oh, they
all
did that.
Hardline.
Yeah, I thought they did that one for OneDrive too. Unfortunately, Windows 8 not dying is not one of them. Unfortunately, no, it's not time for us to get Windows 9. Unfortunately, or a revert to 7.
I know everyone with 8 and 8.1 needs to revolt and go back to 7.
But first up, we gotta look at the new DLC for Dark Souls 2. We got some gameplay of that. I believe I don't know which of the crowns this is because all 3 DLCs are based around different crowns of kings. That's the thematic thing about it.
Hmm.
You ready?
Yep.
Alright, starting it up then in 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back to IGN Live, straight from the E3 show floor. I'm here with Atsu, who's brought along a sneak peek of the Dark Souls 2 DLC. Atsu, what can you tell us about the DLC?
Yeah, so we have announced that three DLCs in the last week. The main game itself is providing the complete gameplay experience to the gamers. But after we actually released the game, we decided to create the three DLCs because we want to provide three different situations, three different level gameplay level design to the players. So that's why we decided to provide the three DLCs.
So I'm about 50 or 60 hours into Dark Souls 2 right now. It's blowing my mind that you're adding even more content. How did these DLC packs fit into the main game?
And as far as I know,
So,
the
again,
the
only,
final
the
DLC will
main
be
game is
the
providing
the really
the
new one
complete
because
gameplay.
Ivory King's
So
not
we
in
want to
Dark Souls 2
provide
as far as I
additional
know.
three stages, three different
Hmm.
situations. In terms of the
Um,
storylines, the player's mission in these
I
three
swear I
DLCs
think
is to,
IGN's
look for
player
the three
fucked
lost
up
crowns.
with me.
We used to be,
Why?
This
belong
one's
to the
quiet.
Drowned Grace King and Bandre.
It's been on the quiet side
And
for me
in
too.
terms of
Okay, well then at
the
least I know it's
gameplay,
not IGN.
the first DLCs
Yeah.
will be taking place at the Poison
Well,
Ruins
it is, but
located
it's not
underneath
that
the earth.
part.
And second DLCs, it will be taking place deeper inside the Iron Keep in the main game. And the last pieces it will be taking place at the the really super cold place covered with snow and ice.
Well, speaking of the first one, you actually brought along a little bit of footage.
I love how not specific they were about the third one.
Yeah, so we have new stages and new enemies, items, weapons. Everything is brand new. Because of that, we were considering about the adjusting the game balance when we actually release the each DLC. So when we release DLC, we also going to be releasing the regulation file, the latest patch, in order to adjust the gameplay balance.
What specifically is being balanced for the DLC?
Well, of course, the game balance. I mean, not
Going
just
to
the,
assume
the
magic.
balance between, among the weapons.
Because I know people really want that magic to be balanced.
To fix some, bugs or all those, we're actually, looking at all the comments that the fans are posting regarding the, cheaters or all the, the bugs. So we will do our best to reflect all those changes, to the game by these, the patches and the regulation file.
That's awesome. Now, is this standalone, or does it actually connect physically to the main game world?
This connects to the the main game world. There's a certain conditions that the player needs to meet in the main game in order to get access to the DLC. That is to get the Ashen Mist heart in the main game, and then at least visit the Andek Crypt. That will allow players to get access to the 3 DLC. But the exact location of the 3 DLC maps is located at the further down and the stages of the main game. I cannot go into the details at the moment, but.
So the first one is Crown of the Sunken King?
Yes, exactly.
When should players expect that?
What is it?
When should players expect to be able to play that? When's it coming out?
Okay. It will be coming out on the July 22nd for all 3 platforms.
It's really exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
All
Thank
right.
you
Oh
for
wow,
playing
that's
the
a
game.
that's a quick
Stay
release.
tuned to IGN for everything E3.
That's
Updates
literally
to
next
Bayonetta
month.
2.
I'm curious about this. Granted, I haven't played Dark Souls 1, and don't you dare start auto playing another video.
Oh, come on, IGN. God.
Yeah.
For the first time ever.
Be curious to see what the
experience
3 DLCs are
groundbreaking
going to add. I know who I'm going to be watching to see what it's adding. Not much. I was kind of expecting a little bit more to be shown off, but I don't know. Looks to be a little bit more. Looks to be doing a little bit more with puzzles, maybe. I don't think Dark Souls 2 has that many puzzles to it.
I don't know. Everything I've ever heard about from Dark Souls was, oh my fucking god, hard.
Definitely difficult, but I wouldn't say like it's the hardest. Well, I take that back. It probably is the hardest game I've played, but oh, like I was expecting it to just outright kill me for no real good reason, and it doesn't seem to do that. Like if I die, it's because I done goofed somehow. It's because I fucked up. I either got too aggressive in a fight, I either went the wrong way, or I was seriously not expecting something to happen. Which that last one, that would be the dragon on the bridge you would see in the I think it's still on the Twitch channel from when I played Dark Souls. Because I was not expecting it to breathe fire on the bridge and pretty much kill everything on the bridge, which is what it did. Probably should have expected that, but yeah, that's probably the first time I would say, "Oh, come on, game, what the I didn't think that would happen." It's not my fault that that I didn't know the dragon would breathe fire on the bridge. Decided to get pissy at me. I'm curious. I'd probably be more into it if I did have Dark Souls 2, but I don't at the moment.
That'd be one of those. It'd be more interesting if you had it, I would venture to say.
Yep. Alright, then next up, my uncle has been really looking forward to this game, and it is Driveclub, Sony's new hardcore, not really hardcore, more their new realistic game series that they're going to be doing. Oh yeah, I get what you mean, Cliff. Yeah, Sonic is. Yeah, I've seen Sonic 06 in action. Yeah. Oh, I've seen the things to come from that game. But anyway, this is kind of their kind of like Gran Turismo, from what I understand, but it's a lot more online focused than Gran Turismo.
Hmm. That sounds like that's an interesting mix then.
Yeah. You ready?
Yep.
Taking a look at Drive Club in 3, 2, 1, go. I was going too fast into the corner.
Yeah.
Why is the car swaying so much? God, I hope it's just it was just he's hitting the control stick back and forth a little bit.
Could be too that he's kind of ramming it into everything.
Yeah, that too. That's a part of it.
And doesn't know how to drive.
I kind of like that whole ghosting of the car so you can't block the road.
I do, but I don't.
Yeah.
I do because that can be used as a dick move. Like, I'm gonna block the whole road and screw you all over.
Yeah.
But I think that there should be realism to it.
Yeah, because this Driveclub definitely seems like the game that's going to shoot for realism.
Yeah, right there, that kind of just broke it.
Yeah.
And shattered every bit of chance that it would have had to be a realistic game.
Yeah. Definitely looks nice. And there's a spin out, and I like that. Unlike Gran Turismo, that I believe still the 4 does it, that there is damage to the vehicles. So if you keep scraping the walls, you start to see the results of it.
Yeah.
Looks really good. Wish we had an actual capture of it.
Yeah, so you can be able to see it better.
Yeah. Looks like nope. Or if he just thinks this guy's going too hard into the corners. like in all honesty, just critiquing the driver. I swear he's going in too hard into the corners.
He's trying to floor it and take the curves, and that car's just not going to be able to do it anymore.
No. Plus the car's just that tight and can't get it to turn that well.
Well, now, if it's anything like Forza as far as turning, it would be harder to get it to turn corners.
Yeah. I just mean like tight in the aspect where it's like it just does not want to turn. I kind of wonder if that might be in play. I don't know. That might be a car-to-car thing.
It might.
Yeah. Drive Club looks good. I think Malco will be happy.
And I kind of have to
Yeah.
agree with what Cliff said there. I mean, yeah, I don't think there is too many racing games that have actually had good graphics.
Yeah.
I mean, in all seriousness, I think Forza is probably the most polished, but there again, it kind of looks too polished.
Yeah, you sometimes get that.
So,
Especially when they want to go, no damage to the vehicles. And I'm like, look. The vehicle's going to get damaged. This is going to happen. Just do it to where the damage looks like it actually came from the car.
it needs to be realistic.
Yes. I mean, I know, like, in real life, this Ferrari is worth, like, hundreds of thousands of dollars, but if it's going to be in a race, it is going to take damage.
At least
Is
some.
the paint will be chipped. I don't want a perfect car going in and a perfect car coming out. I want a perfect car going in, and if I do a really good job racing, I will earn the right to have that car looking just like how I started the race with.
If you're really good.
Yes. But if I'm not, I want to see the marks. At then, next up then, personal bias here. We got gameplay of Persona 4 Arena 2. Or in this case, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax.
Yeah, I can understand them doing that because P4A2 would kind of be a little confusing.
Yeah. Granted, it's less ridiculous than the original name.
True.
Alright then, ready?
Yep.
Alright, starting up then in 3, 2, 1, go. Why, thank you for telling us it's shot off screen. I totally couldn't tell from the audio.
Although, boy, this time they actually have a good camera.
Yeah. And we get to hear the audio! Yay! And yes, that is a Sentai reference. An actual elaborate Sentai reference, because that's a reference to Persona 2, which is in fact a reference to Jetman.
Like I keep saying, Mitsuru Senpai and the others were captured.
I got that already. Oh crap, my phone battery's about to die. Anyone?
Hey, June!
Oh, they brought the voice actors back from Persona 3. That's cool.
Oh well, I need to get going. I wonder
Since
if
Yukari
Senpai
and
the
Junpei are
others
new to
are okay.
4 Arena now.
What about us, Yukari? Mitsuru Senpai, you're okay. We came when we heard you and the others were captured. I got separated from everyone after some helicopter troubles. It was wasted because you were about to die.
Ooh, we also get to see one of the
Hey!
shadow versions of the characters in action, so ooh, this should be fun. But for those who don't know what Persona 4 Arena is, this is the fighting game based off Persona 4 / Persona 3 that is made by the Blaze Brew developers. Gary's looking good. Guy keeps missing with the special shot.
Could have been worse. A decisive win. I look forward to the next round. Are you ready for the next round? They're completely on the offensive. How about this? Down in pursuit. You're utterly charmed. Something is great in the wind. Like this. Like this. One run after another. Really a bitch of it.
Oh, that is working towards a perfect, but that's not happening anytime soon. Don't quite notice any changes for Mitsuru. Because I know several characters are getting a little bit of change, but not much. Oh, we don't get to see the rest of the match.
Oh, oh well.
Yeah, Arena 2 is looking good. And yes, I'm still calling it Arena 2. Saying. Yeah, it'll still be Arena 2 to me.
Of course.
Alright, then. Next up, we have some additional Halo 5 information, / Master Chief Collection information. But just as a confirmation of what was heard in the Master Chief Collection trailer, the name of the new character that was featured in the initial art that was released for 5, and is kind of the focus in the collection trailer. Kind of. He is Agent... crap, I lost the spot. Agent Locke. And, his backstory will be revealed in the Ridley Scott-produced digital series Halo Nightfall. That'll be coming with the Master Chief Collection. It will also be playing a key role in 5. And if it's anything like I'm thinking, he will essentially be the Arbiter of 5.
And 6.
Yeah. It's probably not helped that in the collection trailer, we see him with Arbiter. As you can kind of see in the shot for the video down below.
Yeah.
Alright, Nightfall will be getting his backstory and origin in the series, although apparently it's not required viewing. Which kind of confuses me. You have a series, or at least a special of some type, that gives the background and origin of a main character for your next game, and that's not required viewing. How? Especially when Nightfall in of itself is supposed to be a prequel to 5.
You know, this article also lists something that kind of adds into what we were discussing with the terminals and the Halo 2 part of the Master Chief Collection.
Oh.
It says, obviously, Halo 2 part in the collection will have the terminals, but apparently the terminals will reveal stories around the Arbiter. So, more than likely, that is going to give bits about 4 and 5, because that's probably going to give you more than likely more of a post 2 and 3 look at Arbiter.
Yeah.
Seeing as how we kind of know up to him getting stripped and then after him getting stripped of his former power, so...
Did we confirm where he was in Halo 1? Because I know he has some part in Halo 1.
I don't think it's really been narrowed down. I think as far as the best anyone can tell, he was like in charge of one of the ships that was there.
Okay, so he was like never on screen for Halo 1.
I don't think.
Fair. I was just curious because I thought he was stripped of his rank and branded because, you know, he failed in the Halo ring was destroyed, and he was the highest ranking personnel from that incident that lived.
At least what I said is what I take out of it. Whether that's
Yeah.
true or not's a whole nother story, but that's what I would grasp out of it anyhow.
What I remember from the wiki, as far as I recall, I read up on it. But yeah, did I already make the joke about Halo 5 having 4-player co-op just like 3, where we got Chief, Arbiter, this guy, and some other schmuck?
I don't know.
I thought I said that like 2 weeks ago on the show.
You might have.
Alright.
Apparently Cliff did not like your Persona 4 arena.
I know. I know.
I'm sorry. Personally, fighting games, meh.
Yeah,
I mean, that's all I can say is meh.
I know.
It's one of those that it was beat into the ground so hard that it's pathetic.
Oh dear. That's a
Oh,
combination.
so, yeah, that's a double whammy.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Anyway,
Huh.
nice to get like a confirmation of what was heard in the trailer at least.
Yeah.
Alright then, next up, I believe this is the Oddworld remastering. Well, a remaster of the original Oddworld game. We're going to be taking a look at Oddworld New N Tasty. I think I'm going to just pop everything else open real quick.
I'm not going to be able to do that crap, so.
I know, but nah, might as well. Alright then. Got it all queued up and ready?
Working on it.
Alright.
Ow, that's
Yeah,
loud. Turn down. Then. Still a little on the loud side, but okay.
Yeah.
Product not yet rated.
Hey, folks. Chris.
Alright. There we go. GameSpot's video player is a pain in the ass to try to get back to the 0 marker.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bother, I'll just time it. Alright, ready?
Yep.
Alright, pick it up then in 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey, folks. Chris Waters here, joined by Lauren Lanning, founder of Oddworld Inhabitants, and it's time to talk about Oddworld. Now, if you folks know Oddworld, you're really excited, and so am I. And if you don't know Oddworld, get ready to have your life significantly improved. Lauren, thanks for coming to the set.
Hey, thanks for having us, Chris.
We're really excited for Oddworld New N Tasty.
New and tasty.
And it's new. It's tasty. We're going to talk about in what ways it is both of those things.
Okay.
But for folks who know Oddworld, it looks familiar, but you guys are like,
Wish they could zoom in on the game because it looks good
Yeah,
from
we
this
were from the
distance.
ground up,
Yeah.
all new
So far.
technology, rebuilt and enhanced.
and
you know?
enhance. Yeah, it's
Enhanced.
not, you know, this is, you
It's
know,
not an HD.
in many ways, it's sort of the elements that folks will recognize from the classic Abe's Odyssey, but
Yeah.
also, it's not just an HD update. So what is
No.
it?
So what we did was
Not
this.
a lot of those. Like you guys are
Yeah,
rebuilding.
you know,
from
we
the
took
base.
We took a chance. We felt like we had a lot of success with Stranger HD, and that was an indicator of like, wow, you know, it was
The first
more
time
than we really
really seeing Oddworld in
expected. And
action.
then that allowed us to make some
Really?
money, and we're
Yep.
independently financed today.
I've only
And
seen
what we
seen
did
like
was
bits
we
and
said,
pieces
well,
of it.
What can we do with what
Huh.
money we have now? And we polled the audience, and to our surprise, they were like, redo Abe's Odyssey. And they were
Really?
actually saying, do it Abe HD, and we were like, we think we can do better than that.
You'll-
So what we did was I archived all those assets originally on the original game, and they were like alias and nerves and high resolution because everything was pre-rendered bitmaps.
Sure.
But today, what happened was we were able to retrieve all that back, and that's not what we're seeing. But this geometry was all built
using that as
Was
a template.
inspired by that as
So
sort
it
of
really
the
saved
art.
us a lot of money. I mean, it was
Yeah.
millions of dollars of assets. And as a result, the artists at Jaw, Jaw's done a great job. They've, I myself spent 4 months there this past year in the UK, helping them do a great job. And but they really brought a lot of love and attention to it, like the original team did. And it's been extremely generous of Sony to sort of have the indie program to begin with.
It kind of sounds like what they did for the Halo
highlighted us. They've been giving
2
us shows.
anniversary,
We're excited. So here we
doesn't
are.
it?
It should be more laughs,
Yeah.
more hilarious, and
Think about it, it's kind of that same idea. All the framework's still there, it's just kind of a new coat of paint on it.
Aside from being all new and tasty.
Oh, I want to get to the new content in a minute, but first, let's just talk a little bit about, Oddworld and Abe. For those folks who have not yet met this adorable little weirdo, he's not a hero. I mean,
He's
you
kind
start
of an
off and
anti-hero.
He's
kind of an anti-hero.
Yeah, he's
I mean,
working in the factory.
yeah.
Can't really do much.
Well, when we look around, right, we see a lot of guys that you wish you were on the screen here, that you wish you were a muscle-bound hero with action guns.
What,
and
are you saying
machine
that
guns.
I'm not?
I'm saying I'm not either. But we looked at it differently, and we said, well, what if we create the guy you wish you weren't? That's probably more like you.
Yeah, that
more like
actually,
me.
I kind of
we
am,
kind of
yeah.
are. And how do we make that guy a hero? Not because he shoots better and he kills more people, but because he's actually got empathy and because he's actually out to save people. I mean, this was inspired originally like Soylent Green, meets the Muppets, right? and so, they all know that the Ape finds out that the race is doomed. And so he's about saving characters. But, of course, he's saving characters in an extremely hostile environment. And the byproduct of which is it can get really brutally funny when he's failing. And that was very important to us. And then we added things like ragdoll physics and all. So when he does get killed, some really funny, unpredictable possibilities emerge, We saw him get shot off a ledge the other day. Someone was playing. He gets shot off the ledge. He falls down. He hits his face on another ledge. He spins around. He lands on his knees that look like they get embedded into his waist, like his whole pelvis got crushed. And then he face plants right into a landmine. I mean, it was just like, wow, that was priceless.
You can't go out easy.
Sounds like
when
straight
you're
up
this
Looney
guy.
Tunes stuff, except a lot more
One of the
graphic.
things that always struck me about these games is just the personality of the animations and the fact that he is not. He's not the hero. He's kind of he's homely looking, but he's got those big, like, soulful eyes.
Yeah, he's not the guy the marketing focus test would have come back and goes, this is what everyone wants.
Yeah,
No,
empathy
no.
isn't really, high on a lot of, like, code this into the game kind of lists. But so how do you feel like Abe is an empathetic character? How do you feel like, as a creator, like, what do you do to make that character someone that people identify with and sort of
Well,
care
first
about?
it was like he was kind of modeled after like some of these fish and newts that I just thought were adorable. And then Steve Olds was the original designer. So he had to look kind of pathetic, but he had to look endearing at the same time.
Oh, he just went into 1,000 pieces.
And in doing that, we said, well, but you're not going to get emotionally connected if you don't have emotional connections between characters. So what we did was we created GameSpeak, where instead of throwing punches or shooting a bullet, you would throw a word like hello, And in doing so, when characters were hello, follow me, okay, when that was happening, we saw like husbands and wives were doing that to each other, and people would send us videos of doing it. I mean, it became a joke.
Heard in a different context.
Yeah.
That's people getting really passionate about it, I guess. But so when you're actually playing as Abe, he's not attacking. He is not shooting. He doesn't. It's a lot about this environmental puzzle solving and navigation.
Yes. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to have an action adventure puzzler, and that was the original intent. And in getting there, it was like, how do you do that? I mean, we used to have arguments in design because we wanted you actually do shoot, but not through Abe. Abe possesses sligs that have arms. I mean guns, and then they shoot. So we got into a lot of design things in the beginning that was like, well, you can't give a character a gun and then take it away. And I was like, that's what we have to do. So we need to figure out a creative solution. And the solution was possession. But it came out of that difficult problem to solve. We are not going to have this be a gun-toting character. It's not going to happen. But it's an action game where you're going to be doing some shooting. So that was a dichotomy, that we had to come up with creative solutions for.
And it just sort of becomes a thing that you can introduce in certain places and take away. And of course, certainly standing in stark contrast to Stranger's Wrath,
yes.
the HD remake you guys did a few years ago.
Yeah.
All right, so, you know, the core game is all here, rebuilt from the ground up with, you know, remastered, or with the new assets we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
But there's also new stuff.
There's new stuff. There's new levels. There's some surprises we're going to let the audience find out. We found that the Elam we felt like needed more than was in the original game. There's a certain character that you rode, and so we've added content to the Elam. We've added some new levels in there, or I should say new areas. But every puzzle required a retweaking and a redefining. So even though you experience puzzles, there's a lot more ways to solve the same puzzles now. And that was the beauty of like bringing in the physics, bringing in the dynamic animation program, where we were able to say, you know, we took lessons from the later games. In Abe's Odyssey, you can only have one character follow you at a time, and now it's you got the where you can grab everybody at a time. And you can rescue lots of guys together. So we were able to learn from the tedium that we had in the first game. We were able to hear the response of the audience, and we were able to sort of learn from those mistakes and implementing it again. But the big one was difficulty. Because it was a brutally hard game. And then we'd had a lot of people say, it was the first game I ever finished, and then a lot of people were like, I would have liked to have played it more, but I couldn't. It was too hard. So what we did was we built in, now there's 3 difficulty levels. Easy is much more accessible to a wider audience, but hard is classically brutal.
It's still that.
It's classically brutal. It's hard.
Still you from the past reaching out to smite players.
Yes.
What exactly sort of changes between those difficulty levels? Because
I assume you don't go down that way.
More health, or the obstacles and level layouts changed a little bit.
Well, the obvious things, damage, ammo, things like
Yeah.
that. Then we have response
That's
times.
cool to hear.
We've
That
got
it's not
creatures
just
that
a
he
remake of the game.
encounters
It's
later on that he's
adding in a
doing
whole
his
bunch of new
shamanic
stuff.
Trials, passing the tests, and those creatures all have different response times, different numbers of them, different speeds. So it was very nice because originally it was all bitmaps, which meant it was pretty fixed in terms of how fast things could run. Now it's all dynamic, so we can have different speed tuning based on what your difficulty level is. So if you want it really hard, those paramites are coming at you faster. They give you lesser warning. The sligs have the same thing. The timing in which how fast the character wakes up and is sleeping. There's a number of those tweaks that are in there. Probably a page of about 24 factors that are changing for each difficulty level, and they're subtle. So it's not like you feel like you're really playing a different game, but the ease of that play is greatly different depending on your difficulty level.
That's very helpful, very considerate of you guys to lower that barrier of entry maybe, or to sort of make it a little more welcoming to people.
Well, that's what we felt like.
It is such a visually welcoming game.
Thank you.
And it's so rich with detail, and this, even though this is a pretty sinister world that this
it's
guy
pretty dark
Dave
world.
lives in, it's that attention to detail that just gives it that appeal. Well, some of its appeal. There's a lot of layers.
Yeah, I mean, he's a total schmuck, right? That's the way he walks. He's got a goofball, and he's in a highly dangerous world that is really, just stacked full of subtext, right? I mean, it's a cracked mirror reflection of our own world, and we wanted to say, Muppets meets the X-Files. How do we?
Okay,
that
just sounds like a weird
not only tweak
combination.
your funny bone, but break it.
So you're talking about taking your design approach to this one, taking some learnings from people's reaction to the original, and how they've been discussing it on forums and writing
make
you
that
guys
one.
over the years. Have you, in the past couple of years, I feel like there's been a great renaissance of games sort of this ilk, of this stylish platformer, some puzzle-based stuff in there. Have you taken any inspiration from more modern entries in the genre as well?
Hey, Yellow.
Largely just seeing that people want them. As opposed to seeing a specific game did a specific something that we needed to do.
But seeing that appetite grow in the public's eye.
And it told us, the audience told us, and then seeing these other successes told us that we're kind of past that curve that we've gone over in the last 15 years, which was you need to take advantage of those new GPUs. It needs to be free roving 3D, all those things. And I think what happened, I think mobile market helped this with people just playing simpler games, is there was a return to, I just want to see beautiful worlds. I don't want to steer. I don't want to be looking all around. I just want to play a good game in a solid way. And so we were like, that's really interesting. I didn't expect
One roll was a
that
little
we
too
would be
far.
remaking this in 2014. I mean, I never foresaw that. But the market did change. People did voice their opinions. They came back. I mean, to such a degree, the audience has told us they wanted this. The audience named it. We did pollings. We accepted submissions. They're the ones that voted up New and Tasty. There even has fans are even in the game.
Oh,
So
really?
what we did was we said, look, wouldn't it be cool if you know, because we saw all these fans were always doing like Mudokan voices and stuff. We said, why don't you do Mudokan voices? So we had submissions, and hundreds of people were submitting voices to us, and it took a lot of work to weed through. But
Yeah,
ultimately,
must have been pretty interesting for you to go through those different samples. Yeah.
fortunately, I didn't have to go through them all.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, some were great and some were not so great. But we took, and some were like, I'm not kidding, you know, some were like rock stars. Some were famous TV personalities. They were fans, and they're like, we want to help, we want to be a Mudokan voice. And I was like, no way. You
That's
know?
cool.
And, you know, the voice to Solid Snake is in here doing Mudokans. You know?
Oh,
It's kind of like we were looking at South Park, right?
Wow.
And I remember watching one episode, and it was a dog, and all
That's,
he did was, "Ruff,
oh,
ruff." You know,
Noah
and then you
North, I
find out
think?
that's George Clooney.
Noah
you
North,
know?
I
So
believe.
we had a lot of fun with that, and we gave fans that have been supporting us
Yeah,
an
that's Noah
opportunity
North
to
then.
actually
Oh,
be able to say, I'm in that game. You know, I'm in there. You know, my
What a
voice
treat
is in
for
there.
them.
So we thought that was cool.
Yeah. Now, with such a warm fan, so much fan enthusiasm, such a warm response to the development of Oddworld New and Tasty.
Far Cry 4
you
has
guys have sort of visions
co-op,
beyond,
but I think that's about
this release
the
towards
short
what
and
might
long
come.
of it.
Of course. And now, you know, and it all depends on success because no one's paying for it but us, right? Which means we need the sales to keep on building. And as I've been saying at the show, the fans are going to determine, the audience is going to determine if we're still making games.
Then we can call a video there.
And, but that said,
right.
we've already taken polls.
Yeah,
to say if you
that's
like how
cool.
this comes out.
They're not just doing an HD remake. They're adding in more stuff. They're kind of making a better game.
Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, that's the only online I know of that they've confirmed is kind of a drop-in, drop-out co-op where you can just have your friend hop on, help you out. About it. Don't think there's anything else they've done. Alright then. Next up, we have Codename S.T.E.A.M. This is what Nintendo showed off last night that I was commenting on.
Waiting on that.
Yeah, so am I.
At least GameSpot's got their video player working.
Yeah. I cut this one too. Cut this one short too. Alright, you ready?
Yup.
Alright then, starting up then in 3, 2, 1, go.
Of E3 2014, you're watching the Samsung stage. I'm your host, Daniel Dwyer. It's my last appointment of the day. I gotta say, it's one of the most exciting ones. Codename S.T.E.A.M was announced yesterday, and I'm very happy to be joined by Paul from Intelligent Systems. How you doing, sir?
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for coming on the stage today.
Thank you for having us and allowing us to present our game to everyone.
Not at all. I usually get my list of games weeks in advance, and I pile through them, and I'm like, oh, that's a good one, that's a good one. And then eventually there's unannounced Nintendo game Ace, and I'm like, okay, when am I going to know
Don't you have to pre-order by like next
month?
month?
And it wasn't until last
Getting
night
the alpha
that
for
you guys
Destiny?
actually revealed it to the press. How was that?
Well,
no.
I've been told it went very well.
I
was very nervous, but yeah, I think I hope that people got a good understanding of, you know, the core mechanics and what we attempted to do with the game and where we wanted to go in terms of, you know, the artistic ambitions and also the goals that we set for this game. Yes.
Well, you guys, you know, Advanced Wars and Fire Emblem and Intelligent Systems are known for those high quality experiences. That sort of real good tactical stuff. In fact, it could be said that people would have been really happy if you just announced a sequel to any one of those games. So why a new IP? Why?
Well, this was a decision from Mr. Yamagami, our producer.
Oh, okay. I think you just have to have a PlayStation 4.
Well, for one thing, so he had
and
so much
it will
faith
be
in this,
up
in our original pitch
today.
that he thought, you know, this would work as a new IP, and he also thought that
it should be up today.
It is different enough.
That June 12th through the weekend.
That we shouldn't. So we already have what those series do is what those series do.
Yeah, they're very sort of set in stone.
They should keep doing it. So if we have a new idea, it would be a waste to just like call it Advanced or something or Fire Emblem something when it's obviously not that.
For sure. Yeah.
So while it is risky to have a new IP. I think it's the right decision to launch it like that and not kind of rely on an established
name or
Yes.
marketing budget or something.
Yes.
Wow, this kind of
so
puts me in mind of
Paul,
XCOM.
you've actually brought this gameplay
Yeah, a little
to us.
bit.
This game was only announced yesterday, and this is the first time where we're actually having a look at it being played live. So can you just explain the moment-to-moment action? What's happening here in Codename S.T.E.A.M?
So Codename S.T.E.A.M is a turn-based strategy game, but it is played entirely from a third-person perspective. So almost like a shooter game. And the system that we use may be familiar to players who like especially the original XCOM, or
Yes.
perhaps
There you go.
I myself, I grew up on a Speccy back in Romania, and we had, of course,
Don't
laser
know
squads.
then.
Yes, of
That's,
course,
that's all the info I
So
have.
it uses an action point system. Therefore, you don't have that style. So in Fire Emblem and Advance Wars, we have that very structured style of move, attack, move, select the next move, select the next unit, move and attack, select the next unit, move and attack. But for this game, because it takes place on a 3D battlefield,
That's what it is.
and we
Had to
don't give
sign
you an
up for
overview
alpha
map,
access.
like it's entirely
Looks
played from
like
this perspective.
deadline was
You don't
already
get
there,
any other
so.
helpers.
Sorry, Yellow.
That style of gameplay simply didn't work, so we went for action points. And we represented these action points as STEAM, so it's a steampunk theme game. It takes place in an alternate 19th century. And this is a special team of very gifted individuals put together by American President Abraham Lincoln to fight
Excellent.
these very strange aliens that you see there.
It's cool. There's lots of, well, not as many of these games, but people are familiar with sort of the,
So
the
this
line
is
of sight
XCOM
that's on player with
Steampunk.
stuff like Frozen Synapse,
Okay.
like you said, XCOM, even the new XCOM, but those games are predominantly played isometrically.
Yes.
What is it that, from the third-person perspective,
it's
that sort of makes
Third
it
person
different?
as opposed to
Well,
top down.
Yeah.
it brings... I like to say that it brings an element of actual depth to the gameplay.
Right, yeah.
Like
visual depth.
like visual depth,
Yeah,
yes.
Oh, looks like you can
So
control the camera
what
with
happens is
the
that,
buttons.
you are limited, so each unit is limited to a very
As well as the little
a narrow
camera on
narrow
the
view of the
touchscreen.
battlefield. So
You
since
probably
you
be more
control
precise with
multiple
the
units,
camera on the touchscreen.
a big part of this game is
You can see that
scouting.
you can
your
see the
environment with
XYBA
various
on the
units.
camera thing right there.
And
The camera
from
knob.
these various viewpoints, try to build up a view of the battlefield in your head, and then based on that build a plan for action. And we discovered, so me personally, I really pushed for having a 2D map or having a compass or something, like just give me some kind of feedback. But Mr. Yamagami, our producer, and the people from Nintendo were very adamant that this third-person view is so compelling, and it's so it brings something very fresh to the genre that we should really stick to it. So
It's an interesting argument to make on either side, because perhaps the most important part of any turn-based game, or what we're used to at least, is the map, is knowing how far you are from, even if you don't know what's over there, you know that only a certain amount of things could be over there, you know, so even that little bit of information means so much.
This could be really.
So I guess in that
be,
respect,
really
how
interesting.
do you set up for attacks if you're not really sure what's around the next corner?
Well, of course, in this game you can use Overwatch, so you can leave some steam over. So the action points, as I said, it's steam. You can leave some steam left over for the next turn, and wait for an enemy to come around the corner.
Made by the folks who made a Fire Emblem, so I know it'll probably be a good
But
game.
in order to make the game fun for the player, we've also added enemies that would attack you and they would get caught into the Overwatch. And actually, since we are on the subject of Overwatch, we really worked hard to make the Overwatch mechanic different and fresh. So we've added several.
I love how they're
features
saying
that,
Overwatch, even though it's
I
very
feel
much
are
an
perhaps
XCOM
unique to this
term.
game. And one of them is the
Into
fact
what
that,
they've been looking at when they're developing this game.
Well, of course, doing an Overwatch attack means that you can damage the enemy on their turn.
Yes.
But you can also stun them.
Okay.
So, because many of the enemies are quite tough, you won't be able to kill them. It's quite common that you wouldn't be able to kill them in your own turn.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what you can do is you can take a gamble on your weapon's ability to stun an enemy, which is different from weapon to weapon. So there are some characters that have weapons that are better at doing this. So you take a gamble on the Overwatch, and you use the Overwatch to prevent the enemy from doing anything else on their turn. So you negate their movement on their turn, and then you get to finish the job on the next turn.
Excellent. How long is each level? Because you can sort of lean into this. You know, you can scale this quite
Yes.
like lots of tactical games can be quite long on a portable system. Sometimes you want to keep it short. So how do you guys kind of weigh that up?
Very perceptive of you to say that. Because it's a portable game, we wanted it to keep it somewhat short, and we also wanted to have variety. So the maps are fairly, so they're not ridiculously large.
Yeah.
I mean, we have some very large maps, but the majority of the maps are of a length that would allow you to kind of finish them, you know, in a matter of, well, less than an hour, definitely. But in dozens of minutes, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
And can you do mid-mission saves?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, perfect.
And what we did is that initially we had these like really big levels that would take a really long time to do. And it was kind of like, it wasn't boring, you know, I mean, it was the same game. But, you know, when you have a map, like you have the design goals for that map, you are limited to the amount of variation you can have within the same map.
Yes, of course.
I see that
So,
they keep the balance, giving the aliens the Overwatch too.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is starting to become more and more like a, like this is Steampunk XCOM.
And
Which
so you get
isn't
all the
necessarily
time
a
you get
bad
to see
thing.
something new or have a new gameplay experience fairly often in this game. I mean, I would like to think you do. And this is again something that I feel
Was that a bear?
perhaps not so many strategy games manage to do. Like in many strategy games, you kind of end up doing the same thing over and over again.
Didn't catch it.
And it was important to try to avoid this. And
I'm going to take.
I think we got Mufasa on the damn
Zoe
team.
Richmond's asking the characters in this game. So how many characters do you have, and do they have individual traits?
yes, I'm not going to tell you the total number of characters. There's quite a few of them. There's not a ridiculous number of them, because we wanted each character to have a personality and to feel really unique. Their individual traits are their main weapon, so they each have a main weapon that is very different. Like they have very specialized and sometimes very strange functions. Like some of them you will need to use your imagination in order to figure out a way to use it. Their second characteristic is the fact that they have a special move. I think you may have seen several of them, like a special spectacular attack, which again is very useful, but you'll have to learn how to use it. Like you can waste it very easily. You can only use those once per map.
Okay.
Like they don't consume any resource, but you can only use them once.
And how many characters do you take? Is it 4 per mission?
Yes, it is a 4-man team.
Excellent. I love how it's actually even coming up alien movement in between the movement pieces. It's giving me a very XCOM-y feel as well. In terms of then, I guess the campaign, as it were, how long is that? Do you sort of lean into skirmish mode much, or is it mostly got to do with a single story thread?
In this case, we went with a story-based, so we really wanted to create this, again, have variety and have this more kind of structured feel to the gameplay. So we do not have a skirmish mode. There's the campaign is set up so that it's a linear campaign. So you progress from mission to mission, and hopefully, like, there's a lot of variety and new things that you see and do over the course of the mission. I think for an average player, it would take a fairly long time. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think I never, to be honest with you,
it's
I never
so
counted,
difficult
but
sometimes.
But it is a long campaign.
I'm assuming you guys.
I mean, if you look at the total number of missions, it may seem is not so much.
Yeah.
But once you get into it and you play it, you'll actually discover that it's quite a meaty game. There's quite a lot of content in there.
I'm assuming you don't have any multiplayer aspect to it at all.
You're assuming wrong.
I am. Tell me about it.
I
Oh,
cannot
is that
tell you about it. So, well, all we can reveal at this point is that there are multiplayer modes, both locally and online. But we will roll out those a bit, in the future.
Yeah, in the future. Yeah, the game's only been announced one day.
Yes.
So, which, by the way, good job, because there was a trademark filing about 2 months ago for Codename S.T.E.A.M, and nobody put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, I was very glad about it, because I was pretty much, the last 2 months I was like, oh my god, like, when will they figure it out? But nobody did.
There you go.
All right, I think
That
we'll
was excellent.
cut the video
We
there.
got a scoop as well here on the GameSpot stage as well. I'm very happy with. So this isn't coming out until 2015. Do you guys think it'll be close to the start of the year, middle, end?
I want to say it's not a
That
bad
is
thing
not
that
my
I'm getting a
decision, so-
lot of XCOM vibes off of it, but I'm like,
Let's talk about some of the mechanics then specifically
it
as
kinda
well.
is
So
XCOM
we're getting a lot of questions
steampunk.
based on that. Line of sight. Is there a distance limiter
Uh-uh.
on line of sight?
Portable
Can you
system.
hit? Is there a fog of war happening, or can you hit as long as you can see
I don't know,
somebody?
what do you
No, there
think?
is no fog of war, so you can see as far as your eye can see.
Okay.
But there is
Alright.
a range to the weapons, so you will be able to
Hello?
see enemies that you cannot shoot. So this will allow you to plan. So we actually, I did, it did have a fog of war for a long time, but we discovered it was not having an overview map.
Yes.
It was quite difficult to play.
Disorientating,
Yes.
perhaps.
So and it was also very difficult to explain. I mean,
Well then,
you just kind of move forward, and
be
then
by
suddenly an
myself right
enemy
now.
would pop out of nowhere, like it just looked unnatural.
well then,
Yes.
folks,
It was a hard decision for me because I felt
Conversation
that
at the moment.
there should have been like a line of sight, like, but it just didn't feel right. So we gave you the ability, so you can see as
Oh
far
dear.
as you can see. And actually, on this point, a lot of our maps, perhaps not this one not
Tommy.
so much, but some
Hello?
actually this one. This particular map has a lot of
Hello?
underground, but she didn't. The person playing didn't take that route. Our maps have a lot of
Hello?
verticality to them.
I could see. You could see even with the weapons in terms of the mortar
yes.
as well.
And so it becomes very important in this game to take the high ground, because the high ground will give you a better view of the battlefield. So just finding those places and
I
getting
had
in
walked
those
away,
high,
fell
pla-
asleep.
in
Well
those
then.
high places is a very important
A bit
part
awkward.
of the strategy.
So the story itself then, is this an alien invasion happening in an
where'd you go?
alternate late 19th century Earth?
Yes.
Tommy, can you hear me?
And you can see,
at
like,
all?
I'm gonna give you
Yeah.
this much. This is a map you can see is
Not
set
hear what I said?
in a graveyard. It's a bit of a
Or is my
spooky
mic not
atmosphere,
picking up
so,
anything?
Do it.
um,
damn it. Where'd my mouse go?
Our
What?
enemies and perhaps
I
part of the
said we
main
could
story
get
of
the
the
videos
game is
at-
inspired by
after
the
a
works
while.
of H.
Okay.
Apparently you didn't hear me. Sure, my mic's loud enough. I don't know. Okay, Matt, just okay. But yeah, what do you think about it? Because it kind of summed up how I felt.
It looks like it'd be good. Of course,
Yeah.
I liked when you were streaming XCOM too.
Yeah. It's just it's hard for me to not shake that feeling of, yeah, this looks like a steampunk XCOM. Sure does. Doesn't seem to be doing anything too differently, but oh.
True.
Alright, then next up, we're going to take a look at Hitman Sniper. Don't think they will, because apparently watching people play games is not fun. Y'all kid been ready?
Yep.
Alright, play it in 3, 2, 1, go.
The final day of E3. I'm Cam Robinson. I'm in my comfortable orange chair, and it's great to be here. I'm gonna be sad to leave. Are you gonna be sad to leave, Ollie? This is Ollie, by the way, everybody. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Are
How
you
are
gonna
you?
be sad to leave E3?
It's been hectic, but I always have a lot of fun when I'm here. It's great to see all the new games coming out and some new IPs as well, and it's pretty exciting times in the games industry.
Yeah.
So,
And speaking of new games, you've
yes.
brought a new game along as well. Why are you at E3? What are you shouting about?
Well, we're here to tell everyone about Hitman Sniper. It's the second game from Square Enix Montreal. We released Hitman Go probably a couple of months ago now, actually.
Yeah.
And Hitman Sniper is the second game that we're doing with the Hitman franchise. Now, the gist of the game is essentially it's a fixed position sniping game.
Yep.
It's leaderboard based, highly competitive, and it's all about how you're kind of creatively killing your marks throughout the scene. So you've got one guy that you've been hired to kill, and the game is based around taking your time to draw out the tension and kill him at exactly the right moment whilst you're building up points around the scene.
Fantastic. Well, let's have a look at we got a teaser trailer, I think, right?
Yeah,
so
we got a teaser
check
trailer
that
for
out,
you.
and then we can have a look at some actual gameplay after that as well.
Cool, yeah.
Awesome. And this is just to remind people at home, this game is on iOS devices and Android as well, or it will be when it comes out.
That's right.
Okay, great. Here we go.
Actually, our only mobile game for E3. I don't think we've covered any other mobile games. That I'm aware of.
That was a I feel teased. I feel really teased.
You have been teased, yes.
Well, let's check out the B-roll next, and then we can watch it over, and you can just explain what's going on. What I'm really interested in is how you actively control and interact, with your sniper rifle on a touch device. Because I mean, shooters don't generally shooters in general, classic shooters don't really transition that well. I don't think anyway to touchscreen devices, but because it's this fixed position, that's what I'm really interested to see.
That's right. I mean, you can see here, right? We've spent a lot of time on the controls. We iterated on them a lot. You can play the entire game with one hand. It's really important that it's very, very accessible for you to get into. So we were using all the kind of
that's surprising since
gestures
it's all
and
fixed.
controls you would expect from a touch device. We pinch to zoom. You can zoom in and out like that. It's a simple tap to shoot, and there's only two buttons on the screen: the reload on the left and the hold breath on the right, which allows you to focus in on your mark. So here you've got basically these are the marks guards that are around the scene.
Yeah, that's a really long teaser.
Not going to get that far. There you go. So you're holding breath while you're doing that, so it's all kind of slowed down. So basically what you're doing is you're trying to pick these guys off without raising the alert. If you're too messy about your approach or you're too unstealthy about it, you could risk off. You see, some guys have become curious now. They're going to go and investigate. This is actually kind of cool. This is where we kind of encourage the creativity. So this guy got distracted because he heard something. Another guy looking down, shoot the glass out, kill them both. But as the kind of little finisher there, shoot the fan, speed it up, dispose of both of the bodies at the same time. There's tons of stuff throughout the level that's all like this.
I was wondering if he was going to get sucked into the fan.
Sounds a lot more interesting than just a
so here's another
straight
one
up
as well.
sniper
You can
game.
see you're actually zoomed in on the power supply at the top there. He kind of gets distracted, but then gets electrocuted at the same time. So there's accident kills, there's body disposals, everything you would expect from the Hitman franchise is here. And it's really just about...
That man's going for a swim. That man's going for a swim.
This
That's
guy's
my prediction.
definitely going for a swim. He's like a sitting duck there. Look at that. And you use supersonic rounds. Supersonic rounds allow you to hit your target instantly, so they get rid of the lead time that you need to aim your shots.
Okay.
And we got a whole bunch of power-ups in the game. We got a ton of different weapons, all with different personalities. And now you complete the contract by killing the mark, you bank your score, and any of the missions that you might have been doing along the way. There was one there for 3 body disposals.
So does it matter then if you kill your mark before you kill any of the guards? Like, why did you kill the guards?
If you kill the mark before you've killed any of the other guards, that's it. That's contract complete. So what you want to try and do is, because it's a high-score game, you want to try and kill as many of the guys throughout the scene as you possibly can in order to get the high score, and then the mark is like the last guy that you always take out.
Gotcha. Then what that reminded me the most, and it might remind a lot of people watching of the most, is if you've never played Hitman Go, you might remember the Hitman Sniper Challenge.
Correct.
Which was it Xbox Live Arcade, or was it just
It was Xbox and PC.
And PC, right. That's when you were shooting the marks in a very similar way, but there was also pigeons as well that you could try and shoot. That was really fun. So it looks very much like you've kind of basically brought that to tablet devices, which
Absolutely.
is great.
I mean, we really like what they've done with Sniper Challenge, what the guys at IO have done. They're a very creative bunch of guys. And we thought that if we're going to deliver an experience for tablet, it has to be done right. So there's no point taking something like a fully fledged Hitman game and trying to get all the controls on the screen, or even like a complex sniping game. You look at some of the competitors on iOS, there's lots of dials and buttons and so on, right?
Yeah.
So essentially all we wanted to do is take what they've done in Sniper Challenge and expand it out to a lot of different types of contracts, different types of gameplay, and a lot of replayability. I mean, from that one level that you've seen there's 150 different missions for that one level. And then even when you finished all of those, you still got all like pushing the leaderboard, earning more cash, upgrading your weapons, getting more boosters, and things like that.
So how many levels are there then?
We've got 2 contracts to start off with. The one you saw there was from Montenegro. Okay. There's another one in the pipe at the moment, so we'll be launching worldwide with 2 contracts. And then what we want to do is really work with the community. Work with Hitman fans, work with guys that are fans of our game. And we're really going to be listening to what people like. If they want us to do like reenactment of a classic Hitman hit, we'll do that, right? We'll take you back to New Orleans or to an opera house. We're perfectly happy to do that. But if we want something new, we really want to, after this game's been in the market for a while, it's going to be constantly evolving. We're going to be finessing things along the way. So we just want to make sure that we go where the players want us to go.
Okay. So how does this fit in there with the kind of
sucks that it seems like they're not having
Hitman's been a game around for a long time.
that much content out of the gate.
I mean, so do you
kind of.
tap into
Yeah,
that
but
story
like he said, there's
in
so
any way?
many
No, we actually have
missions.
kept it very
There's so many
very light.
objectives
Just
in
to
each
show you
level.
this here.
Oh, you
This
see
is
the
actually
armor.
another
So
domino kill. We've set up the car alarm,
You could
lured 2
play it
guys together,
repetitively.
and again, you
Yeah.
get the 2 for 1 there, which is always good for a laugh. But no, in terms of narrative, we've left it kind of narrative light a little bit. This could be one of the earliest hits of 47's career. It could be one of the later ones. It could be the last one he ever does. The guys at IO, they're very much more, they got more narrative horsepower than we have. We just delivered a great gameplay experience. So it's almost like once you start playing the different types of contracts, it's almost like the greatest hits.
Cool. Well, guys, if you're watching at home and you have any questions about Hitman Sniper, the best thing to do would be to
Alright, we
tweet
can cut
at
the
me
footage there.
at CamFrazRob right now, and it'll appear on my laptop here, and I can throw the question to...
Yeah, it's only on iOS. It probably only
sucks.
yeah. Probably only works for tablet. Probably won't work on iPhone. At least that'd be my guess. It looks good. Probably one of the most notable mobile games that are probably on at E3. Or were at E3 since it's actually over by now. Alright. One last thing to do before we have a nice little recap of things we've talked about. Kind of a look forward and look back. We're taking a look at a demo for Xenoblade Chronicles. This was the X game from last year's E3. Now given a full title and actual demo. You ready?
Yep.
Alright, starting up then in 3, 2, 1, go.
Robinson, and I'm taking over from Chris Waters. He's gone all the way over to the other stage, the lesser stage as I like to think of it, mainly because I'm here. And I have a beautiful orange sofa, but that's not what you're here to see. You're here to see a brand new game just announced today by Nintendo.
Please tell me that the entire time he does GameSpot coverage, that he does not mention that chair.
So I remember the first time I heard about the game Xenoblade Chronicles. And I was told, I remember my colleague Mark said, oh yeah, it's a JRPG. And I was like, oh, that sounds pretty exciting. And he's like, yeah, it takes place in this world, which is on the back of these 2 giant colossuses who have been caught in combat for an age, and then they died, and that's where everyone lives. And I was like, what? Like, that's an incredible premise. So to people who haven't heard of Xenoblade before, tell us a bit about it.
So the first thing I want to say, yes, the Xenoblade on Wii was amazing, amazing story. With Xenoblade Chronicles X, this is an all-new story taking place. So you're going to be creating your own character at the start of the game. However, the premise of the game is actually in that you basically, as an Earthling, you have these 2 warring alien species that are just doing battle right above Earth. We're not really involved as Earthlings, but what ends up happening is we're in the crossfire, Earth blows up.
Oh, wow. That's not good, right?
There's some Earthlings that make it out. They just get out in the nick of time via their spaceships. They end up, during the escape, they crash land on a planet. called Planet Mira.
So it's a completely new story. Is the only like similarity in name really to Xenoblade?
It really is. That name, you're going to see a lot of similarities in gameplay. So right now we're seeing, you know, for fans of Xenoblade on Wii, you're seeing that arts palette on the bottom.
Yep.
Now the bread and butter of that combat system, you know, it is an RPG, JRPG. You're seeing this auto attack.
Yep.
Although you've got your arts down there on the left and right too. We've only got 2 on the left and right now.
Well, tell us a bit more about those arts. So how do they work exactly?
So the arts might be a special, like the left art right there is a special melee attack, like an assault hammer. The art on the right is a shield, so you can kind of shield yourself up.
Fortunately,
as
this
you're
this
playing,
is
as you're leveling up, you're going to be able
probably
to
not the best demo to show off for
like,
this game, because I think the honestly it's the same demo that they showed off for Nintendo Treehouse,
also lets you when you're
and
choosing which. So a lot
the
of
teaser
strategy
showing
from
that
comes
you
from
could
choosing
control
which
the
time.
big
Because
robots.
when you use one, it's not
more
just
interesting than
spam
some of the on-ground stuff.
assault hammer. Every time you use an art, it has to cool down.
Okay, right.
And so during that cooldown period, you're trying to figure out, okay, what's my next art going to be, or am I going to just use my auto attack? As you're attacking,
Which
you
also doesn't help that
have
we're
the
starting
ability
right from the beginning of the game with this
you're
demo.
Gonna see here in the next battle, you're going to have the ability to change from melee to ranged on the fly. But before we get into our next battle, I at least want to set up this scene that we're about to see.
Yeah, where are we? This looks beautiful. What's going on?
We woke up, the beginning of this game, we're actually playing like the first 20 to 30 minutes of the game right now, just at the beginning. Our character just woke up from slumber, and Irma, this female character here, found our character that we customized. We named him Cameron.
Oh my God, I'm so honored.
But, well, hopefully he does a good job here. Maybe strong for us. So she's like, basically, as he was asleep in this like sleeping pod chamber, she's like, do you know what happened to Earth? Do you remember anything about this? You're on this new planet called Planet Mira. And so her goal right now as the AI partner is to bring you back to kind of the Earth settlement. And you're going to see in the background here where that spaceship, or where your ship crashed and has now become like this colony on this unknown planet, Mira.
Wow, okay.
So you're seeing kind of the mist kind of roll away now, and you're getting the first glimpse of just how beautiful this world is. We're going to see some of the creatures kind of come into view here in a moment as well.
I mean, it really is gorgeous. Let's talk a little bit about the world, actually. So I remember in the previous Xenoblade, it was a large, expansive world, but it was like segmented. Is it a similar structure this time around?
Yeah, I mean, it's similar in the way that you're going to have, if you're going to see an area, you're going to be able to pretty much go there.
Wow.
Like, when you're playing the game, when I was playing, you know, the original Xenoblade, I would just go, I might get lost. There's objectives, there's a story.
Now, if I remember precisely, that
awesome story forward, but
that monster out there, you can actually fight that.
Hours on end, just exploring. Part of the fun of this game is just
Now, whether or not you win is another story, but you can actually fight it.
That can take you just way off the beaten path. Of course, I should mention as well that you do have giant like mech robots in this game as well. We're not going to see them in this demo today because we're just starting out the game.
We did see some great flying creatures there. So like scale has always been, like based on your previous game, that's something you guys are a fan of, like big monsters, really big monsters. Are we going to see lots of big monsters in this game as well?
We are going to see some giant beasts. In fact, even here in this intro, you got to see some of these almost like dinosaur-esque looking
Looked like that Kylosaurus tail thing going on there. Yeah.
And you're able to basically go up and challenge them right now if you want to. Like, they are here in the world, and if you want to take on that guy, you can. Granted,
so does that mean enemies don't scale then?
So right now, the enemies are not scaling. You're going to have level 1 enemies, level 5, level 70s, all existing in the same game world.
Okay, great.
Now, that level 70 giant beast right here we can see, I don't know if he's level 70. He's really high. If we walked up to him right now, fortunately, he's not aggro. So he's not going to really mess with us if we leave him alone. But as we continue along in the demo, you'll see that there are some enemies that are going to attack us on sight.
Definitely heavily dinosaur influence there.
Thank you,
Is that
Mr.
something
Brandon
that the art
John
team have gone through the whole
following
game,
us.
or is there just loads of different influences all the way
really,
through?
I mean, the theme is just it's this alien world, so you don't know what to expect.
Okay.
As you can see on the ship here, these are humans from the United States that kind of crashed here, so this is all new to them. Of course, Irma, your AI partner here, they've been here for a little bit. She's kind of almost a scout. She was actually just out and about doing her scouting duty when she found you at the very beginning in a sleeping pod chamber. And so she's kind of just introducing you. It's kind of a big change. It's like if you just woke up all of a sudden on another planet and you're like, hey, here's a rifle, a knife. We gotta like.
Yeah, I'd have a lot of questions for you. Let's say. Okay.
So he's kind of getting reintroduced into society, this new world here. And Irma right now
It
is
looks
actually just
also
kind
looks kind of
explaining to
pissed
us
off
that
the
our
entire
goal-
time.
Our objective is to make it to the ship, where she's going to kind of reintroduce us to the kind of the base camp.
Brilliant. So this will be like your initial base, your initial kind of home city, town, where you can learn the bartering system, you can start trading, do little missions with people. Very much like that. I mean, I forget the name of the first town in Xenoblade Chronicles. Is this kind of having a similar purpose, really?
You know, this is not a game necessarily that you're going to start, neither was the Xenoblade Chronicles, that you just start and understand everything automatically.
Yeah.
It's not going to throw you in a mech
straight
at the
away.
very beginning of the game. So as you're playing the game, you're going to be able to learn more about it. What we're seeing here, too, is this kind of a time station where you can manipulate time. We actually just changed it from nighttime to daytime. You can change it down to the minute. The reason you might want to do that is maybe certain enemies only come out at night. Maybe certain NPC characters are only hanging around for certain quests.
But if you leave it, is it just like a persistent day-night cycle if you don't
There
do
is,
anything?
yeah, and you can actually see that in the upper right-hand corner there. It is about almost 2 o'clock. And again, on that map in the upper right-hand corner, that yellow marker is kind of guiding us to the mission objective. All of those red dots just really represent other enemy characters. They may or may not be aggro. This guy was just sleeping. He was just minding his own business.
Why did you attack him? Surely, as a character, you should know. I just woke up, right?
Well, we got messed with the big
We want to level up our character a little
pig-looking
bit,
thing.
so we're kind of being a little bit of a jerk here. But again,
Whoa, did you just sneeze at me?
It's a bit more bored. I think it's got tusk
You're
on it.
seeing us actually kind of take different angles at him as well here. We're actually targeting him from the front and middle. But if we go around from the side, we're able to target different parts of his body.
I noticed the terrain as well can block attacks because his sneeze hit that tree. So you can cover behind obstacles, right?
Yeah, to some degree, you can definitely use that environment. But really more of it's going to be choosing whether or not you want to be going ranged or melee. Melee attacks, of course, might do more damage up close. You might get some bonuses, but it does put you more in danger
And you
a lot
can
of
do
the
more
time.
damage from the back, say, and side attacks. And do they have effects on your enemies as well?
Absolutely, and it's going to depend on the creature that you're fighting. In a moment, we're actually going to get to some creatures that have armor kind of plating on their front and middle.
Yeah.
So it's not really going to be in the best of our interest to take him from the front on. Now you can target the individual body parts as well. So if there's a creature with a tail, you can actually like break off that tail. He can no longer like use it to whip you or something like that.
Cool, that's excellent. So let's a little bit about the size of the world. How big is? Because Xenoblade Chronicles was a good long game. I mean, is this a similar length and everything, or is it a real JRPG you can really get your hands into?
This game is
There's one of the big
that
guys.
same giant sense of exploration again.
And as you said,
know,
you
may
could
not be
actually
able to get
fight
everywhere
that,
in the
like
beginning.
right
there
now.
may be some parts that maybe you can only get to like in your mech or something by flying. But in terms
I think
of
on
scale,
a
it's
Nintendo
absolutely
Treehouse demo, they actually did fight one of these things and
so what we
lost.
see here is you saw that like little circles try to align, and we were
doubt.
prompted to push the B button. Throughout gameplay, the battles, if you push B at just the right time, you'll be able to get like a health bonus for your character. There's also moments where your character will actually be talking to you during the battle. She might issue you a command. In those instances, if you actually do the command she's asking, you can earn additional bonuses, whether that be health or some kind of other bonus.
Okay. So right now, the kind of terrain we're in is very kind of lush and green. And are there varied like biomes, different terrains? Is there desert areas, icy areas? Is that kind of a part of this game? Will it take you all over the planet?
You know, you're going to be traveling around a lot of the planet. I haven't actually seen all of the planet yet. We're just kind of focusing on the beginning. But one thing that we could do right here, if we did not want to go to the base right now, we could just take a detour and we could just go wherever we could. Wherever the terrain is going to allow us to go. Now, we might get ourselves in trouble and come up against these like aggro enemies that are level 80.
Yeah, because there's a level 22 up there on the cliff.
But the game is not like putting up walls telling you, nope, you're not at the level yet. You can explore there if you want to go there.
Right, now if you're watching at home and you have any questions, maybe you're a fan of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, chuck them in the comments. I've got the comments section open right here, so throw them in now and we'll take one in just a second.
Okay.
I have another question I was going to ask you. I want to talk about weapons, right?
Okay.
So am I thinking guns weren't really a big feature in the original Xenoblade, is that correct? So, I mean, how does the weapon system work? Is there weapon customization? Do you just find weapons around? Like, how does it work in this?
So right now, when you start the game, you're just going to have, of course, the rifle and the knife, and of course, one of the new features there is that you're able to switch them on the fly even in battle, like just knife to guns. In terms of the additional weapons you'll be able to find, there will be a lot more to that. We just really haven't been able to go in detail. One thing I did want to mention a little bit about the battle system is that you're familiar with Xenoblade, so whenever you use an art, you have to wait for a cooldown period in order to use it again. So that system is still in place, but what they've added is almost like this second cooldown period. So you're going to have the cooldown period, and if you actually let it cool down a second time, so you're able to use it, but if you wait all the way until you get it a second time, it's almost like you're going to be able to use it, maybe have this like bonus attack power, or you can use it twice in a row. So there's going to be some sort of risk-reward scenario in those battles while you're waiting for your system to recharge. We're almost at our base, but we're greeted with these giant, this is kind of almost like our first boss encounter in the game, if you will. And just to give you a heads up, we're maybe underpowered, severely underpowered, because we've been
so we might die.
Yeah,
well, there are 3 of them and 2 of us as well.
And they are bigger.
Well, considering how long this video is,
we kind of zoomed the camera out manually a little bit ourselves just to give us a little bit more of the scope here, but we could zoom in if we wanted to.
Wow,
this looks like
those
a pretty
things are kind of
battle,
big.
I'm afraid this is where we're going to have to leave it, but thank you so much for coming on, Corey.
Yeah,
Can you give us just an idea when it could be
Oh, really? Really, we don't see the don't see if they actually win the fight.
2015.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for coming on stage.
Huh.
Yeah. Kind of curious about Xenoblade now, because I think the original Xenoblade was on. Well, the Xenoblade they're talking about is on Wii.
Yeah.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
Kind of wish they demoed more than just the first 30 minutes of the game. See more of the mech action, because that seems really cool. I'd be really curious to see how that turns out. Yeah. Alright, then. The last thing we get to cover. Except for a big recap. Oh, a recap.
Yep.
Alright. Guess we might as well start with the first thing we actually covered, which was the 5 press conferences. Well, 4 press conferences plus all the digital stuff from Nintendo. So, press conference-wise, guess start with Microsoft. What do you think they did right and wrong?
I feel like they did good by not focusing on the Kinect and all the media stuff that they had for the Xbox One, because that's kind of getting annoying where that's the only things that you hear about is Kinect, or such and such video thing is on the Xbox One, or this or that or the other.
Yeah.
It kind of did good for them to break into what the consoles are supposed to be for, gaming.
Yeah.
But then again, I also kind of see that as a double-edged sword, because they said nothing about that stuff.
Yeah.
I would have figured they would have at least touched it.
Yeah. I also kind of felt that it felt just like last year, in the sense that it's a whole lot of focus on, here's what you can play on the Xbox One, here's another thing you can play on the Xbox One, here's something you can play only on the Xbox One, here's something you can play first on the Xbox One, and a whole lot of that jingling the keys in front of you, hoping to distract you from all the potential crap that Microsoft went through with the Xbox One.
Well, and I also kind of feel like that you didn't really hear of anything 360 side. So it's almost like they just completely turned their back to 360, even though they know they're going to have to support it for at least another couple of years. It's one of those, it's like, okay, you just going to turn your back on it and force everyone to get a new console. That really don't look good for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand the new consoles, they're going to be getting the hype. But there's not a reason to just kill all development for 360 and PS3 right now.
Yeah, it could be a bit of a transition period. Alright, what about EA? Right and wrong there.
Kind of was just their normal thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
they really didn't show anything surprising.
But in the same sense, they didn't really do anything different either.
No.
If they did one or the other, then that would be something.
Yeah. Like, at most, we got footage for several things that we've only gotten a tease for, really, but... I don't know. Wait, no, they had one surprise. That was the Criterion project, and that was about it.
Well, yeah.
They're one surprise, and we really don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I can't say Battlefield Hardline because we had that leak the week before, and not just leak like name, but like leaked everything. Like we knew all about Hardline beforehand, and it's like, oh. That's what they were going to end the conference on, as they were kind of big note, and well, you see what happened. Apparently, they need to take lessons from Ubisoft on how to keep a surprise. Echoing?
Yes, seriously.
Am I? Get back. I'll turn my micro down a little bit.
I'm not seeing it.
Do you want to mute the stream somewhere? Do you have the stream up at some point?
No.
Yeah, that's odd. I'll turn my mic down, see if that helps. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah, had standard fare, and, well, speaking of Ubisoft, they kind of had the, standard fare too. Oh, well, apparently it's you, Tommy, that's echoing.
Okay, huh.
I can't hear it.
I'm not seeing it as far as OBS goes, so I don't know if it might be just glitching or something.
I'm gonna listen to the stream now, see if I can pick it up.
Now you will be getting echo.
Yeah, I don't hear it on stream. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. Ubisoft, they kind of went standard fare too.
Yeah.
Like, their biggest surprise was the surprise we were all expecting. And the fact that we were all expecting a surprise.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem with Ubisoft. They've done that for so long that now it's kind of expected.
Yeah.
It's one of those, oh yeah, Ubisoft's press conference. What are they going to try to surprise us with this year? I mean...
To be fair, it's a good surprise.
Yeah, don't get me wrong there, but when you're expecting it every year, it's like,
Yeah. You know what should they do? Well, what they should do next year? Take the end of the show surprise, start the show with that.
See, that would be something different.
Yeah. Granted, that would kill all, like, kind of the rhythm of the show. Because then you start with the big surprise, and then the rest of it's kind of the standard Ubisoft stuff, so it kind of ends on a note.
Yeah, but how it is now, it's kind of ending on an note, because everyone's expecting a surprise.
True. Alright. I know neither. You haven't got to watch the Sony press conference either.
No.
And I haven't either. But based off of what we saw, kind of a listing of what happened was, what do you think they did right and wrong?
Honestly, I kind of feel out of the press conferences themselves, they kind of did the smart thing again.
Yeah.
They touched a little bit on everything and really didn't give a crap about time. They were going for, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. Probably the most well-rounded press conference, and the fact that they touch on the games and they touch on the console to give you a little look into the future for the console in of itself.
Yeah.
Outside of the software. Which, that's good. Alright. Now, what about Nintendo? Just the digital event. Because I don't think you got to see the digital event.
No.
It was like less than an hour. Which, honestly, like, half the things that were in that article for the Nintendo Digital event weren't there. Like, it had Smash Brothers, Mario Maker, the new Yoshi game, the new Kirby game, some Robot Chicken skits related to Nintendo, and Iwata and Reggie having a fisticuffs fight with special effects to start the show, and that was kind of it. But, like, just the digital event, I feel like it was kind of So I'm like, some new games announcements, but I kind of noticed that some of them, a lot of them were 2015. Like a lot, like a lot of stuff. I swear at E3 was like 2015.
Yeah, that seemed to be the common theme this time.
Yeah.
Which I kind of find weird that we're in that gap of a development slum like that.
Yeah.
Because you look, even at Microsoft end, Halo 5 originally was supposed to be at this year's E3 and supposed to be the premise behind it. And then they pushed it back.
That's next year.
Yeah. I mean, you've got a lot of these titles that were supposed to be really at this E3, but they're coming out next year.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, how did every one of the major developers get off like that? Because we're used to seeing like one or two of them winding up off.
Yeah.
And generally that's where Battlefield or Call of Duty come in and mop the floor with everyone.
Yeah.
But this year you kind of got the only thing that is going that is going to definitely be worth a darn is those two. And it's like, huh. Because the rest of them, it's all hitting different areas. Those two, it's really going to hit the major goal for both, well, really, in a sense, all three consoles.
Yeah. Just felt like, if I'm judging just the digital event, it was kind of disappointing. Adding in the rest of the content Nintendo was pushing out digitally, it felt like they had a lot more. Because we had 3 days of coverage of all of what they were bringing to the table. Plus, like, the best way to demo Smash Brothers is bring in professionals and have them show off the game.
Yeah.
Bring in the pro players, have them play it, and so we really get a sense of how Smash Brothers will be playing. On top of their digital event. Kind of makes me throw a little bit towards Nintendo.
All the way, it does seem like Nintendo was the smartest.
Yeah.
Because they saved the money on the press conference to give the digital content that they needed to give at E3.
Yeah.
And that's one of those, I don't think it's so much Nintendo's backing out of the console wars the reason why they're not doing the press conference. I think it's a case of they're realizing, okay, we're making more money off of giving them the little content throughout the whole thing as opposed to just making them sit down for 2 hours in a room and just shoot all the information at them.
Yeah, we got 3 days of Nintendo going, alright, here's this game, and we're demoing it live, and here's another game, here's another game, here's the Star Fox announcement, here's 2 other titles Miyamoto's working on, here's Codename S.T.E.A.M that got announced yesterday, I think at the end of the Treehouse stream. So I think in that aspect, yes. I think just judging the 4 standard press conferences, I'd probably give it to Sony, just as the kind of it seemed more well-rounded. But I'd have to watch it just to be fair, but I kind of felt like Sony might have had that one.
Content-wise, yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with you. As far as the games that both of them brought, well, all 4 of them brought to the table, that's a little bit more of a toss-up.
Yeah.
Because they all kind of had their own unique ones.
Yeah. They all had trailers that they just showed off, and they all had actual games that are actually going to be coming shown off.
And you look, there's a noteworthy game out of each one.
Yeah.
I mean, Microsoft, you got the Master Chief Collection.
Yep.
EA, you got Battlefield. Ubisoft, there's actually quite a few, but the biggest one's probably going to be Siege.
Yeah.
And then Sony with Uncharted.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there was others in there, but you know as well as I did, that's going to be the 4 major ones.
And only 2 out of those 4 really ended the press conference. Right? No, 3 out of the 4 ended the press conference. My bad. Master Chief was kind of in the middle.
Which is kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Especially seeing as how they kind of wrapped it and 5 together all at once there.
What was less talk about 5 and more talk about the collection, and 5 is just like, yeah, it's that thing, like, next year. Like, we're not worried about it at the moment. We're here to say you 4 games you already have, that they're going to look prettier. Which I'm not gonna lie, it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm still curious on how 3 and 4 are gonna look in the collection.
Oh, but you know we'll get that before it comes out.
Yeah. I'm just curious about those 2, since those 2 seem like they're getting like that in between 1 and 2 in terms of work being done to it. Because 1 is just, it's being thrown in there as, hey, this was what we did anniversary-wise for 1, like, a couple of years ago, so you're automatically in there. You know, we've got nothing that we can do for you. You're good.
Honestly speaking, Anniversary was set up under Reach's graphic engine.
Yeah.
Now we've got Halo 2 that's going to be set up under Halo 4's graphic engine. The most I could see them wanting to go would probably be bringing 3 up to Halo 4's graphics.
Probably.
I would almost guarantee we're not going to see much out of 4.
Oh yeah, that's true. 4 would probably be the least work they do to it.
More than likely with 4, they're just going to slap it in there.
Yeah.
I highly doubt they're going to do too much upscaling. The most they might do is if they can get it to work at 60 frames and keep keep everything from lagging horribly, that might be the most they'll do. But I would venture to say we're going to more than likely just see 2 and 3 come up to 4's level and be there.
Yeah.
It kind of would be nice to see them take Anniversary and maybe even bring it up to Halo 4's level, but I really don't see that happening.
Yeah, they're probably just going to...
Because this kind of looks like it's more of a focus on 2, so why make CE look fancy too?
Yeah. It's already got the Anniversary paint job done to it. It don't need more work on it. It's good.
Which, I agree and disagree with that.
Yeah.
Because you look at the biggest differences between Reach and 4.
Yeah,
4 looks a lot more fancier than Reach.
I think, what? CE off of Reach, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I figured, yeah. That'd be rich.
So you're going to have one game that's going to lack in quality compared to the other 3. More than likely.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not getting CE Anniversary 2.0, fortunately.
Maybe.
Maybe.
They might decide to bring it up to Halo 4's level, but I just doubt it.
Yeah. Alright. So, game-wise, what are the games that coming out of E3 you want to pre-order right now?
If I had the console or not?
Exceptions where you need them to be, pretty much.
Because obviously I would be on the fence as far as Master Chief Collection. That would kind of be one of those, I want to see what they're going to do to 3 and 4 before I would decide on something like that.
Yeah.
Right now I'm kind of on the fence for Hardline. It's one of those I'd like to get in the beta and see it out first.
Yeah, I registered for the beta. I haven't gotten an email, but apparently several notable Twitch personalities who have the subscriber button apparently got it in their email. They got access in. Apparently, it's only the one map.
Aw.
Yeah. It's the one map, and that's kind of it.
We mentioned this one last E3 too, but the crew. I still think that looks awesome.
Yeah, that's one for me. One for me definitely just kind of going from top to bottom would definitely be Arkham City or Arkham Knight. When I say Arkham City, Arkham Knight. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I'm gonna buy Arkham City twice.
It was that good of a game.
Yes. Yeah. Just seeing what they're wanting to do, kind of as a send off for the series, because they've said again and again and again, this is the final Arkham game for them. They're done after this. What they do next is not going to be involving the Arkham series, and to see that they're kind of going out with this big bang, I'm like, I'm with this all the way. Yeah, Hardline. Well, get in the beta, see what I can. Yeah, the beta would probably decide purchase for me.
I think that's going to be a lot of it. We're going to have a lot that we would more be waiting on either more information or the beta.
Yeah. See what would be like what would be my pre-order? Let me scroll down a bit, because honestly, the next one for me would probably be Smash Brothers, unless I see something. Well, there's one there, but we didn't see anything for them, so I'm not counting that one. Persona 5.
Oh, yeah.
That's a pre-order for me, but since we didn't get any information, I can't count that one. Nor can I count SMT Crossfire Emblem, because that would be a pre-order off name alone. Yes, probably Smash Brothers.
Honestly, that probably would be for me too.
Yeah.
Because that looked awesome, and I swear after watching that on their stream, I want to get an emulator and get it going again.
Yeah.
Siege looks like it might be one.
Yeah, that and The Division would probably be two pre-orders for me. The Siege looks like a lot of fun if you have friends, and so does The Division.
Yeah. Which I think that's going to be the same kind of concept for Hardline.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be fun if you've got friends, but if you're just partnered up with randoms on Xbox Live, that's where it's going to look kind of crappy.
That's where it's going to be mileage may vary on that one.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get good teammates. Sometimes you'll get idiots.
Don't you mean most of the time? I swear most multiplayer is full of people that just like trolling others.
Sometimes.
But yeah, really, that's kind of about the only ones that would be like on the verge for pre-order for me anyhow.
Yeah. I'd say this, but I'd be lying to myself a bit, but that'd be Uncharted 4. Like, as much as I would say, yes, that's a pre-order for me, I'm like, we only got a trailer.
Yeah.
So I can't be like, so I'm kind of lying to myself on that one. Alright. So I guess in general, anything that may not be like pre-ordered for you, what's got you excited? Like, what's impressed you?
I'm just kind of starting back at the top and coming down again.
Yeah.
I would like to see more out of Destiny. I mean,
Yeah.
we've gotten little dribs and drabs here and there, but I don't really feel like it's enough to make us solid one way or the other.
Yeah, I've liked what I saw, but I'm not like must pre-order like now.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could pick that up day one.
It's almost like Bungie's not trying as hard as they were with Halo. And I guess it's partially because a lot of the people that were with Bungie during Halo aren't there now.
Yeah.
But you would still think there'd be someone there that'd be like, we've got to push this. That's the only thing that was helping before.
Maybe they're banking on the brand Bungie to help sell the game.
Yeah, but that can only go so far.
I know. It just seemed like,
especially after Halo 4 was released.
Yeah.
Because I felt campaign-wise, that might have been one of the stronger ones.
Yeah.
Multiplayer, not so much. I kind of wish Bungie was still over it, but
yeah.
Single player, yes.
Yeah. I will say Unity impressed me. Like, barring the whole thing with the co-op not being as intricate as I thought it would be, and the whole female assassin thing, that's a whole thing in of itself. They could be talked about for days. Honestly, I'm impressed. I mean, this looks really cool. Like, this may get me to go, you know what, I might try to push through 3, complete, pick up Assassin's Creed 4, get that done so I can be caught up to Unity.
Hmm?
Just see what else.
Evolve.
Yes, Evolve. That.
I would definitely like to see a lot out of that one.
Yeah, that. For something that I haven't given that much thought to outside of, oh yeah, it's that one thing being made by the Left 4 Dead crew. Like, it showed up and impressed.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see Evil Within 2, although we have seen a little bit. It seems like, okay, this is starting to look definitely more and more interesting. I'm a lot more curious about this one.
Far Cry 4 actually kind of did.
Yeah.
That impressed me right there. And what's funny is that's one of the few that were in here that's actually running off of both next gen and past gen.
Yep.
I mean, granted, the footage we got to see was off of the new consoles, but still,
Yeah.
it's gonna look pretty close to that.
Yeah. This definitely impressed me. Hyrule Warriors. That.
Oh yeah.
That, for just hearing about the idea of like a Legend of Zelda Dynasty Warriors game, I'm like, okay.
Yes.
And then seeing it in action, and I'm like, oh my, you're making me want your company to make another game of this same genre. like you making me be a little bit down on the Dynasty Warriors S game I have, which is Kamen Rider Battle Rod War, and I'm like,
well, maybe Battle Rod War 2 is better.
I hope. No, Battle Rod War is bringing a lot of new stuff to the table, a lot of improved stuff to the table. Let's see. Not that. No. Mortal Kombat 10, definitely impressed.
Yeah.
I liked 9, and from what I've seen of Injustice, I like what I see.
Honestly, in kind of a weird way, Mario Maker kind of surprised me.
Yeah, that could be it.
That's something that you would not really expect out of Nintendo.
Yeah.
Because it does break away from what they're used to.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear about a new Mario game all the time. But how many times do you hear of a Mario game where you're making the levels instead of them?
Yeah. I think with the right community behind it, Mario Maker could be really good.
Yeah.
With the right community behind it. Like, if you get, like, kind of like what Little Big Planet has, with that community that's willing to push the limit of what this game can do creatively, to be able to do, like, do amazing things with the tools that are at their disposal, I think Mario Maker can thrive.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if they do more than just the two styles. Like, think of that game where you can swap between, like, multiple different looking Mario games.
Or change Mario out for various other characters in the Mario universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot that could be done with that.
See here.
Honestly, one that didn't really do much more than we saw before E3 was the Order 1886.
Yeah. I don't know
that,
about that.
That one wasn't as big of a surprise as I would have figured it would have been.
Yeah. That teaser, like, for me, kind of felt like a big shoot up towards big, kind of felt like a big idea that was shooting for. But now that I see the game in action, I'm like, It looks like your standard third-person shooter. Like, it would be so much more fun if it was co-op, like they were kind of hinting at. Because I'm like, well, the palette kind of reminds me of Resistance. Makes me a little bit more favorable to it. I wouldn't say it impressed me, but it continued to be like something I'm keeping an eye on in that Sunset Overdrive. Like, as someone who loves Insomniac games, when I look at Sunset Overdrive, I'm like, this is what Insomniac does best. This is them going, full throttle, hitting all the marks. This is the quality of game you can expect from Insomniac.
Yeah.
And my only thing is on Xbox One. And it's like the only thing that really makes me go, yes, I want an Xbox One. And I'm like, Master Chief Collection,
It'd
it
be
looks
one
good.
of those that it'd be good to have the old maps back in multiplayer, but That's
Like,
why I'm kind of like I want to see what they're gonna do with 3 and 4 before I could even make a decision like that.
Yeah, it's like, I'm just like, I keep breathing in the mic. I've got those 4 games. Hell, I got one of them that will be exactly like it is in there. And the whole, like, oh, it's got all the multiplayer on there, and it's kind of this all-in-one package. I'm like, okay, that's kind of neat, but I'm like, look, Nightfall's not going to make me pick up this. Nightfall, at best, will make me go, okay, I'm going to read up on Nightfall. The whole thing with the new character, okay, I'm reading up on him. And maybe I'll be more inclined to watch people play the game. But this isn't make me go, yes, I want this. No. No, Sunset Overdrive really makes me go, I would buy an Xbox One if I had more than just that to care about, which I don't.
I'm definitely gonna wind up getting one.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be a matter of time of when.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, as it currently stands, yeah, Sunset Overdrive's gonna be there. Yeah, Master Chief Collection's gonna be there. But really, that's just gonna kind of build into what I can get for it when I do get it.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be one of those, I've got to get an Xbox One before whatever fill in the blank game comes out. No, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah. I will say, the amiibo stuff, that impressed me. Like, I really like the look of them.
You know, something else that impressed me, and it's more so because we didn't really get it up until this E3. Project Spark.
Yeah, that.
I figured, it's just gonna be kind of like Minecraft, and you can make stuff, and yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Wow, that's. It's almost like a little video game maker.
Yeah. It's a lot more intuitive than I think Little Big Planet is, which I think will make it really thrive if it can get the community that Little Big Planet has. Because Little Big Planet has a really great creative community that will just make anything with the tools at their disposal. They'll spend hours making levels. If Project Spark can get that community and make that community happen, that are willing to make these really cool things with this game, it will really thrive.
But see,
for
that's
years.
that's gonna fall back on Microsoft.
Yeah.
Can they put down Halo long enough to promote this? Because you look, what did I say even? We've barely gotten to see or hear anything out of Project Spark since last E3.
And we had a beta for this.
Yeah.
Like, how many people actually knew that the beta existed?
Probably not too many. Because it was one of those that Microsoft kind of just swept under the rug.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, they need to quit doing that. Just because it's not Halo does not mean that it cannot be the next big thing.
I do kind of feel bad for Conker. It's like, hey, I get a new game! Except I'm being kind of used to promote another game. Oh. Oh well, I say again, if it could get that Little Big Planet community, trust me when I say this, Conker will get himself a proper video game. It will just be a part of Project Spark. Like people will, like if the Conker Bad Fur Day assets are in there, somebody, like multiple people out there, will recreate Conker's Bad Fur Day in Project Spark if they could. If you can,
Okay.
they will make it happen.
Okay, it's a PC game. It will be modded.
But that's what will happen is people will, if they can, they might, if the community is there and the people have that drive with this game, they can recreate, they could possibly recreate Bad Fur Day in this, and maybe even create a sequel.
Yeah. I know one thing. Nintendo is really, I mean, it grabbed my attention. The Wii U grabbed my attention when in Walmart I stopped there and checked out the Wind Waker remake. It kind of grabbed my attention with that.
Yeah.
And I thought, this actually has kind of gotten them going back to where they needed to go. But two games that we wound up, one hearing a little bit about and the other one actually getting to see, has kind of got me thinking a little along the lines of a Wii U now. And one is a given, Star Fox.
Yeah.
I definitely want to see more out of that.
Oh, that Miyamoto, why you gotta be behind closed doors with this? Just open doors. We want to see this, man.
Even if it is just a rough idea, I don't care. I want to see.
Yeah.
And Smash Brothers. Right now, it's weird to say this, but the Wii U's actually got my attention a little more than the Xbox One.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Wii U definitely has got things coming to it, like Splatoon, which I don't think is even on the list.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, it is. I must
right
have just
under
missed.
Sonic Boom.
Well,
Which
okay, I must have missed that.
Which Sonic Boom, I'm torn.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks it's a good direction, but part of me thinks, how much is this going to stray off of where all the other Sonic games have went?
Yeah.
Because if you stray too far away from what Sonic is, then
it stops being a Sonic game. It starts being a platformer with Sonic in it.
Yeah. Which turns out horribly.
Kind of why a lot of people complain about Sonic Unleashed.
Yeah.
The night stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Case in point. It's one of those, if you stray too far away from Sonic, it just becomes meh. But if you follow too close to it, it still becomes meh because everything's been done with Sonic at its base.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, I hope they don't go too far away, but I hope they don't follow in the same footsteps as past Sonic games either.
Yeah. I mean, we've gotten a Sonic-esque Mario Party game. Like, seriously, we have.
Wow.
It's also terrible.
No doubt.
We've also got Sonic Kart, called Sonic All-Stars Racing, which actually has been well received as far as I know.
Yeah, that one, I've played the demo once, but yeah, that one seemed like it would have done pretty good in my opinion anyhow.
Yeah. I mean, we could always get Sonic Golf.
Oh God, no.
Oh, come on. Don't you want to break out the drivers and the irons with Sonic and his friends?
No.
Aw. Yeah. Back to what I was saying earlier. The amiibos, the whole idea of get these little figures for Smash Bros. And it's essentially like an assist trophy that levels up. And you can even battle it out with other amiibos that other people have. That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
But even besides that, the look at them, they look really cool. They're really nice representations of the characters in Smash Brothers. I really like that. I hope that they do the whole roster. I also kind of hope that the trophies in game, because there's going to be trophies in the game, of course. Trophies in the game for the respective characters are those figures. Because I kind of want that to happen. Just personally speaking. I think that'd be like a really cool touch.
Yeah.
But I really want to see what else they can do with this. Like, I think Miyamoto hinted at the fact that maybe Amiibo would be integrated into Star Fox. Like, that's a possibility. So, an R-Wing Amiibo. Maybe your own personal R-Wing to customize.
That would be nice.
Especially if you can get an amiibo of all the vehicles. That would be that would. So we were also getting like Mario Kart 8 integration, and I'm like, oh, we get carts in this, and no, you're tapping in all the places right now. Yeah.
You know, I scrolled down farther.
Yeah.
I found another one that I forgot about, but actually kind of did catch my attention for the Wii U again.
Oh, what?
Yoshi's Woolly World.
Yes!
That looks like an awesome idea.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be another Yoshi game. I'm well aware of that fact. But the basis behind it and the way it's done is what would make it interesting, because it is different.
Yeah. I like the little touches they put in there, too. Like, if Yoshi's running fast, his feet turn into wheels. And when he's doing his hover, legs turn into a little propeller. Like, literally, that's little touches, and I'm like, that's cool. A bit cute.
I like the way, if you're playing with someone else, how you can grab them and use them just like you can the enemies.
Yeah.
It's a unique idea.
Alright. I guess one final thing before we end off. What is something that you saw that either didn't impress you or you're going to need to see more to make any type of decision on? I don't really think of one we can both agree on.
Which one?
Fish.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's going to take a lot for me to give COD a chance.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, but that demo really felt like the Battlefield 4 demo we got in an E3. It really felt like what it got. I think it was last year, really. Was it last year with the Battlefield 4 demo?
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow, this is like hitting all those hit marks that the Battlefield 4 demo did. And I'm like, I really don't care. I see through your attempt to have a deep emotional story, and you're not doing it. Like, I'm sorry, you're not. I'm sorry, you're not. So, no. No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but this fish is getting thrown back in the water, and he can go swim off to be caught by somebody else, because I don't care. Until Call of Duty can really do something impressive, for me at least, I'm not picking up another one for a while. Fable Legends is...
Yeah, that one's kind of...
Yeah. That one I felt like, okay, they might do something, okay, this seems kinda, It didn't really do anything for me. What else? I'm trying to think of something noteworthy. Trying to avoid just the trailer ones, because I'm like, that's a bit unfair.
Yeah.
When it's just the trailer, and that we don't really see anything gameplay-wise. I was about to say Mirror's Edge 2, but not really. Kind of have to go to the bottom, really. Okay, I'm not seeing anything, really. There's just something on this list that I'm not thinking of.
Which one was it that we were both kind of like, that horror one? Was it Let It Die?
I think so.
That one where it was the one that we were both kind of like, meh, by the time we got done with it.
If it's the Manhunt comparison, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it was.
But I think that was just the trailer.
Yeah. But still, I mean, a lot of times, especially at E3, that initial trailer tends to make or break the game.
True.
If you don't get the trailer, especially at E3,
yeah,
that just screams, look at me, then it's just going to get swept under the rug and you're going to be forgot about.
And then you become vaporware.
Yep.
I really can't say anything about 2.5 Remix because I don't know. I own all the games that are in there. Well, yeah, I even own Recoded. So I'm like, well, yeah, it's an HD remix of the 3 games I already have, and 2 of which I've already beat to completion. So I looked at Kirby in the Rainbow Curse, and I'm like, kind of like this clay design, but I don't know, something's not striking me right. Or it goes without saying, the sports titles.
Yeah. That really does kind of go without saying.
Forza Horizon 2 was also kind of, I don't know.
Well, it's a Forza game.
Yeah.
What really have they done different?
Yeah. This is weird coming from a car guy here, but I'm just like, when I look at a Forza game, I'm like, they're kind of no fun. I don't mind a realistic driving game, but I'm like, the most interested I think I've been in a Forza game is the original Forza Horizon, which I still have not picked up to this day. That's probably the one I've been most interested in. And this one's like, I don't know. I'm just not interested. I'm more interested in the crew. Because that looks like fun.
Yeah.
Forza doesn't seem fun to me. Wouldn't really say the Pokemon games because there's not that much there for me to go, I'd say I would want to see more on the Ruby and Sapphire remakes. Make a call, but I've got a Sapphire on me, a copy of Sapphire on me. If I want the Pokemon from that generation, I'll just use that. The most it's kind of interesting me is the Mega Evolutions. That's kind of it.
Yeah.
That may be kind of terrible to say. We didn't really watch any of it at E3, but Quantum Break.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have saw some more at E3.
Yeah, we've seen gameplay of it before, and I'm like, you look like standard third-person shooter. I don't know. I'm not impressed by Quantum Break at all. Like, really.
Not really. I am either.
Yeah. I really need to see more on Battlefront because while those initial shots are good.
Hey y'all.
I figured he was hopping in.
Yeah. I just.
Sorry, y'all. Just got home from work.
Yeah.
Well, not just got home, but I just got home to where I had nothing else to do. Once I got home, I had to change out of my clothes, and then I had to go across the street and take care of the dogs for... No, because I couldn't find the food. I'll give it to him in the morning. Alright.
Anyway, I need to see more on Battlefront before I can make a proper call.
Am I
echoing off you?
Alright, let me go get my headphones.
He could have muted his mic.
I shall fix the solution.
Alright, I'm back. Hang on. Let me put my headphones on.
Yeah. Not much else to know. Division still looks good, and I'm still kind of wanting... Like, did the game come out yet? Because I've seen all I need to see, really. That's kind of it. I've seen, like, nothing from the new WWE game. There might be something I pick up, depending on what they're doing.
So what all have I missed?
Alright. Oh, not echoing. Good.
So what all have I missed?
The entire show, pretty much.
Great. I'm sorry, guys. I tried to show up, but, you know, work has me kind of cornered.
Maybe you can help give your thoughts on some E3 stuff.
Alright, well, let me try to log into BGS.
Fuck, you're only gonna need this one article. They get into trouble.
Okay.
But who do you think had the best press conference?
Glock.
Me,
We've kind of done walk through this.
To me, well, I was gonna answer, it's just I'm trying to think. Be honest, for me, it was mostly because of the games that it showed on there. It's a tie between, and I know you're gonna go, what? But it's a tie between EA and Microsoft this year for me. EA only because of 2 or 3 games, I can't remember. But I know, y'all know which ones it was because of.
So then from a technical standpoint, in Glock's opinion, Microsoft won because EA always sucks.
Yes. From a technical standpoint, Microsoft won.
Yeah.
But EA kind of caught me with Battlefield Hardline and
Battlefront?
Not Battlefront.
Mass Effect?
Not Mass Effect.
Mirror's Edge? There
yes.
you go.
They got me. Well, yes, Mass Effect 2. So, the 3 games. So, Mirror's Edge 2, Mass Effect 4, and Battlefield Hardline are what got me to fall in love with EA's conference. So, for me, technically, Microsoft won, but from my standpoint, EA and Microsoft tied because of those 3 games.
Alright. Coming out of E3, what is a definitive pre-order for you? Like right now, I'm gonna go out, pre-order that game.
Oh, that's a difficult one.
Assuming you had the console and the money to do it, obviously.
That's a difficult one.
That's why the list is there, Glock.
I know, I'm looking through it, and it's kind of difficult because there's a lot of them that I like, that I really want.
Well, it doesn't have to just be one.
Yeah.
Alright, well, Evolve is one. Evolve is a definite.
Yeah.
Evolve, if that game just looks amazing. They are souping it up to be, oh, it looks so amazing.
I kind of assume anything you said legit about.
No.
So most of E3.
Aw.
I'm contemplating on Horizon 2, but I'm not quite sure. I want to see more of it before I actually do pre-order.
I like the words of most gamers.
Yeah.
I really want to see more of it before I pre-order. Before I pre-order, I want to see some gameplay, and I want to see how smooth the controls are. Far Cry 4, I've never been a Far Cry fan, but Far Cry 4 has me hooked, so a Far Cry 4 would be a definite. Hyrule Warriors. That game looks fun. I want that one. Again, I want to see more. I want to see more of Mass Effect 4 before I can even think about it. Mirror's Edge 2 is a definite. I don't know if I already said that. No Man's Sky. That one, I really, really want. No Man's Sky looks really fun. Siege. Rainbow Six Siege. If it was out for pre-order right now, I would definitely go get that one. And then one last one. Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah. You kind of covered my second question, which would be what's impressed you, but maybe not. Do you want to go out and pre-order it?
Well,
because you kind of already.
The Division impressed me a lot, but I still want to see how, because it hinted at, management of the bases. I want to see how that plays out before I decide that is a game I want. I want to see if it's smooth, if it fits with the game. I want to see and make sure that it plays along with the game and feels as real as the game is making it feel. I don't want to see everything. I just want to see what is important. And that is kind of an important part of the game if you're going to build it upon that idea.
Yeah.
Another thing that impressed me, that Splatoon. I'm impressed by that. You said that there was only one game mode that was shown at E3.
Yeah.
I want to see what else they have. Not everything, just give me something else that would feed me more, that would make me want more. Give me something that would impress me enough to go, okay, that is definitely a game I want. A couple of these games I never saw at E3. I guess it was just they were at booths, but they were never shown at the conferences.
Yeah.
The Rise of the Tomb Raider. Honestly, I was excited, but it really didn't impress me. It was just a trailer, it didn't show anything.
Yeah.
I mean, to impress me, you need to show me something more. You need to show me something that I can get a grip of and say, okay, that's a must. I mean, even what they did with Star Wars Battlefront, they did show what the game can do. They had definitely shown what the game can do, because they showed on the computers with what they were doing with the game. They had shown that, but with the Rise of the Tomb Raider, it was just a trailer and it showed no gameplay or anything. It didn't show anything like that. Maybe it was running on the engine, maybe it wasn't. We don't know. It never said so.
I don't think it'd be running on the engine. It seemed like it was very much your standard CGI trailer.
Yeah. So, like I said, that's another one that I was like, okay, yeah, that doesn't impress me. And then Quantum Break had so little stuff, if it even was there. I think it had a booth.
I doubt it was, because they said they were skipping E3 to go to Gamescom, so I
Oh,
doubt they were
okay.
even there.
Okay. And then the Order 1886, you said that it was just a repeat of the demo that was there. Um, for the guys that are working on it, just to give y'all a perspective, you need to give us more than just one tiny demo. Even if it's, a brand new level that you created all on your own for the demo. We don't care. As long as it showcases what we have at our disposal throughout the game, we don't care. As long as it gets us motivated to get that game, that's what you need to worry about. Another game that I would pre-order, definitely, I forgot to say, is Mortal Kombat 10. That one really impressed me. I want to see more. I want to play that game.
Ready for that really confusing retcon? Kind of?
Yeah. No one has any idea what Let It Die is. No one has any idea what that is. And that's what's got people interested.
I'm gonna assume it's gonna be stylistically like Manhunt.
That's what I was thinking too from the trailer, but
yeah.
Will it be a purely multiplayer game, or will it have its single player? That's my big question. That's what's going to define it from the rest. Is it going to be one of those, we're going to try to make it multiplayer and then absolutely fail? Or is it, okay, we have our strong point and we have our weak point, let's put them together and make it fit well? Just that Kingdom Hearts 3 was there.
It wasn't.
That's what I thought.
Bear in mind, Glock, this is the exact same list that we used pre-E3.
Oh, okay.
People have forgotten to remove things that were not there.
Yeah.
Like, you can remove 3, but you can keep 2.5 on there, because 2.5 was there.
Yeah. Another one that the minute I saw it, I just had, I wanted from the second I saw it. Homefront 2, The Revolution. It didn't show much, but it had shown just that bit enough to make me want it. And that's why I love the people that are working on the Homefront, that are working on Homefront 2, because they did the same thing with Homefront 1 and made me want it. I have hope for that game. I really do.
But
other than that, Dragon Age Inquisition, I want to see more. Destiny, I was impressed in the beginning, but it's starting to feel a little bit repetitive, if I may say that. Am I the only one that's thinking that?
Well, unless they had a new demo, which I don't know. I haven't seen any.
They didn't really have a demo. They just had that. It looked like it was from the spectator's perspective. That video. Yeah, and it feels a little bit too much like the same thing that they've been working on this entire time. Dead Island 2, I have faith in that too, because that, even though it was just a trailer, if they can keep up with the whole comedy thing instead of making it too serious, I will definitely want to play that game. The Crew, its gameplay was too slow for me this year. It was just that long video of them going from one side of the map to the other. And yes, I understand you can go through the entire world, or not through the entire world, but through the entire country, but make it a little bit more interesting. Don't make it just this, boom. Other than that, and Bloodborne. Other than that and Bloodborne, nothing else really impressed me. Arkham Knight was good, but it felt the same, I guess. And then I didn't see anything from Alien Isolation.
Are you sure that's it? You've had about 4 times there where I thought you were done, but you weren't.
Yeah, I know. But I believe that's it, yeah.
Alright then. That shall end the show. So, check us out tomorrow. We're not going to be discussing any new stuff. We're just going to be playing some games. Having some fun. We've done four straight shows of new stuff. It's time we all had a break.
Question.
What?
Can we go past 1 o'clock because I would like at least 2 hours? Or at least an hour to play with y'all because I'm going to be working from 5 to 11 tomorrow.
We're going to be discussing things because there's things we need to discuss after the show. But anyway.
Okay.
For Glock and for Tommy, I'm Peace. Good night, everybody. We will see you tomorrow for some gameplay shenanigans here on the Gaming Saloon. Well then. Tommy?
Tommy, you up?
Kind of.
Outro?
Oh, my bad. Sounds are muted, by the way. So
Of
poking
course.
didn't bit of good.
That's about all I had, so.
Yeah.
True. Okay. Well, as always, you can find the Gaming Saloon on our site at tgstgsr.org. Don't forget to follow us on our social medias, on Twitter by following at tgsaloon, and on Facebook at facebook.com/thegaming-saloon, and on YouTube at youtube.com/tgsaloon. Till next time.